How's it going, guys? Peshcats here with Paru
Mizu Hash Brown.
once again, and we are back with episode 2 of Waifu Wednesday. So today we're going to be looking at Nadeko Waifu from Bakemonogatari, the Monogatari series, and we're changing up the format a bit this time. I feel like it would be better to do it this way. So on the left, we're going to have my deck, and then on the right, we're going to have Paru's deck. And neither of us got any references from the other about what they put in the deck or anything like that. So we're both going into these completely blind, and we're just going to be comparing our decks straight up.
Yep.
So first of all, I just like to say that Nadeko's cards suck.
Yeah.
I was like, man, I can't find any good cards to use.
Yeah. You kind of have to put in non-Nadeko cards for it to be playable.
Okay, yeah, but wait, does yours is all Nadeko though, right?
No, it's mono Nadeko, yes.
All right, so let's start with the zeros, I guess. So we'll just here's my zeros, and here's your zeros. So
Okay.
let's just go through each card one by one, I guess. Or let's start with the ones that we both played. So we both ran 4 copies of the stock Suicider. Apart from being a level stock Suicider, it also has the ability. On play, if you have the level 3 burner in your level, then you can choose one of your level 1 or higher characters, and this turn it gets +1 soul. And this is also an experience requirement to early play one of your level 3s.
Yeah.
So this is just a really good all-around level 0. It has uses early game because it's a stock Suicider. It has uses in the mid game by adding soul. You're also going to be shoving it into level, and I believe this was the only yellow card that you were running in your deck, was just 4 of this.
Yep.
Alright, so yes, definitely a staple 4 of in Nadeko Waifu.
It's playable in the actual Monogatari deck too.
Yeah, just as a stock Suicider.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Okay, so this level 0 is during the opponent's turn, your character in the front row center slot gains 1,000. And you can pay 1 to draw 1 and discard 1. So useful for hand filtering, and I guess it's useful to pay out stock as well.
Yeah. That's the main use of the draw and discard 1.
Yeah.
Or to get unnecessary climaxes out of hand.
Yeah. Yours ran 3 copies while mine ran 1. I probably should have considered running more copies though, for the getting climaxes out of the hand. But yeah, okay. Let's see, the brainstorms. So this is during opponent's turn, global 500 to all your strange characters, which is the whole deck. And brainstorm, pay 1, rest this, mill 4, and for each climax you draw 1. So this is the only brainstorm that Nadeko has, and oh god, it's a draw brainstorm, but we'll take what we can get.
Yeah, at least it's plussing.
Yeah, I went with 4 copies, whereas you went with 3 in yours.
Yeah.
I just felt like having 2 of this in back row at all times was just optimal, I guess. Just pay out stock if you have to, and just double brainstorm. This deck is actually able to mill pretty well. Okay, there wasn't any bonder to the event that I missed, right?
No.
Okay. So it's actually just a loan.
Yes.
Feels bad.
Yeah.
All right, and then the last one that we both ran was this. It's like a defensive level 0. So during the opponent's turn, if this is in your front row center slot, this gains 2k. Now you ran 4 while I ran 2. I guess running 4 guarantees that you open with it, since this is your this is probably your best defensive card that will stick on the board at level 0. But
yeah.
At the same time, drawing more than 1 copy is pretty stupid because the effect only works in front row center.
Yeah.
So I decided to only run 2, and I also decided to run some beaters in my build. All right, so let's talk about the stuff that differed at level 0. So for mine, I ran 2 assist, just in case I don't have like double brainstorm or something. This is like a okay back row. Assist 500, and then it has an act ability. Pay 1, rest this. Choose one of your characters, and until the end of the opponent's turn, it gains hand encore. This part, that part's pretty useless. I don't know. Maybe sometimes you'll need to pay out a stock, and that's how you're gonna pay out a stock. But other than that, it's pretty much just an assist 5. This is just a beater. It can't side. It's 3/5 power. I don't know. I want to kill stuff.
Yeah.
And in yours, you ran this, which was okay. So this is like a level 0. It's like a changer when it is being front attacked. It changes into a 1/0, which we'll get to in a sec. I considered running this card, but at the same time, I just wanted my 0 game to be fairly normal, which is the Nadeko flavor.
I don't actually use it all that much for the change ability. I use it because deny they can attack and then it can just deny shit running over it.
Yeah, because you can sack itself and then
just not play anything.
Yeah, choose not to play anything, and then your opponent just like doesn't get the reverse.
Yeah, that's actually the reason I play it. I don't usually use the change.
Yeah, although like a lot of the time, if your opponent might get scared and not want to attack it.
Yeah, a lot of people are actually afraid to attack that thing, which is also nice. So it kind of pluses 1 if your opponent's bad.
At the same time, though, it's really not a +1 because of how like you're still losing this card to just advance summon your level 1.
Oh no! I mean, if your opponent isn't willing to attack it.
Oh, if they're not willing to attack it, then yeah.
If they're afraid that you're gonna pop out the level 1, yeah.
Then yeah, it's definitely a +1. Okay, so that's it for the zeros. I ran 17, I think. No, I can't do math. I ran 16. You ran 17.
Yes. Okay,
so let's move on to the ones. Or let's pull up the ones and the twos, I guess. Might as well. Okay, so 1s and 2s. My deck strategy for the level 1 game is for the most part just to play stuff that gets very, very big on your own turn and just burst over stuff. I actually missed this card.
It's a promo.
That's why I missed this card. Oops. Alright, okay. Clearly I did not do enough research going into this. My bad. Okay, but anyways, so yeah, my level 1 game basically just revolves around being big on my turn, slamming over stuff, and then I run 8 plussing triggers, and then with that plus the 4 brainstorms, I just want to keep drawing into stuff that I can play and just keep putting stuff on the board. It's like
that sounds alright.
It's like a much worse version of like Sao's level 1 game. But anyways, so I run this level yellow one.
Yeah, I used to play that too.
Yeah, this yellow level 1. On your turn, if all of your characters are strange, this gains plus 2,000 power. So it's just a 7k beater. We both ran this. This is the level 1 that gets changed from this card.
Yeah.
So this level 1 is when it's placed on stage from your hand. Until the end of the turn, it gets 500 times the number of your strange characters, including itself. So if you play it into a full board, it goes up to 7k. And the second ability is, if it reverses a battle opponent, you can switch a card from your waiting room with a card in your level zone, which is useful for setting up your early play if you miss the experience.
Yep, sounds about right.
And 2 copies of this 1/1. If you have this 3/2 in your level zone, this gets +1 level and +1k. So it's a 7/5 level 2. Pretty nice. Yeah. Just costs 1 stock and it kills things. Now for the card I missed. So this is a 1065 and it cannot front attack if the opposing character is a higher level. I don't know why you of all people are running this, Kappa.
Yeah. That thing was hard to track down.
What, like in WSX?
No, to find
Oh,
physically.
like in real life?
Yeah.
I don't know where it comes from. I didn't even know I didn't even know this card existed. So, I mean, yeah. So this one will stick on the board more easily defensively because of its higher base power. But at the same time, it might have some trouble if your opponent fields a lot of higher level characters.
Yeah.
Which, depending on the deck, you never know. It might happen. You might be playing against like a Miku Waifu and they play like a +1 level support, and you're just like, what do I do with this? Yeah, this one is only slightly higher on the offense, but it's much weaker on the defense. And another problem is that you kind of have a bit of like conflicting colors as far as like what you want to put into your level zone at level 1, because this card definitely wants the level 3 to be in your level zone when you're going into level 1, so that you can get the experience requirement. But if you do that, then you don't have, like, let's say you're going into level 1 at 1-0, like you clock yourself, then you won't be able to play this card. So that's a potential downside to running it this way.
That's actually why I removed all of the yellow level ones.
Okay. So yeah, it makes sense to run this level 1 then. All right. So for level 2s, I ran 2 level 2s. You ran 2 level 2s as well. We both ran this event, by the way. This level 1 event. It's just look at the top 4. Look at up to 4 cards from the top of your event, from the top of your deck. Look at up to 4 cards from the top of your deck. Choose up to 1 strange character among them. Add it to your hand and send the rest to the waiting room. It's just like the Junketsu or barrels or whatever you want to call it. It's that. It doesn't have a bond, which means it's significantly worse than those. Feels bad, but but it's there. Okay, level 2s. So I decided to run 1 level support, pretty much because our main game plan is early playing this level 3 at level 2. So if we're able to make this big, then that's pretty cool. At the same time, if you fulfill the experience requirement for this level 1, it gains a level, so it's going to get more power from your level support, which is pretty cool. And this also has a Climax combo, which I do not run in the deck. So it's just a level support, and I run 1 copy.
Yeah.
And I run 1 copy of this anti-level 3. When it attacks into a level 3 or higher character, it gains 6k. Very basic card. Yeah, it's just that. It turns into a 13-5 with back rows. It potentially becomes like 14, maybe 14-5.
All of the back row in this deck only apply on defense.
I run that, I guess. I run that. I also run this. So yeah, with level support, maybe.
Yeah. Okay.
And then you decided to go with counters.
Yep.
So the reason I decided to exclude counters from my deck is because the level 3 is more or less it doesn't like want to die necessarily, but it's okay with dying because of it being able to replace itself on death. So I decided to exclude the counters from my deck.
Mm-hmm.
So any particular reason why you decided to go with the counters instead of like cards like these?
Honestly, I didn't know that the level 3 killer existed.
Oh. Yeah. Well, this one's actually in the set.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And the reason I don't play the level assist is because, like I said, I just tried to exclude all of the
yellow cards.
Yeah.
I mean, like I feel like it's a reasonable card to put in your deck, based on the way you want your experience to go, because you're ideally going this at level 1 into your level zone, and then the stock Suicider at level 2, so you're gonna have yellow. I mean, like ideally you're gonna have yellow. So being able to play this is goes along with the flow of the cards you're putting into your level zone.
Yeah, true.
Okay, now let's get on to the real spicy stuff. The level 3 line. Despite this being an experience-based set, like typically in Monogatari, you want to throw as many level 3s into your level zone as possible. This deck is kind of different in that you specifically want to throw this one in, and then you want to throw in this level 0. So it's not based on the total sum of levels. It's based on the specific cards that you're putting into your level zone. Despite that, we are both still running a lot of level 3s. So we should probably talk about this one first, since this is an early play.
Yep.
It's got a gigantic wall of text. As we've been saying this entire video, you specifically want this level 3 and the stock Suicider in your level zone. And if you have both of them in your level zone, then you're able to play this at level 2. And it's a 3295. It has two abilities apart from the early play. So first off, when you play this from your hand, you can choose a copy of the 1-0 event from your waiting room and put it under this as a marker. And if it has the event under it as a marker, it gains an ability. And that ability is, when this is sent from stage to waiting room, you may choose up to 1 copy of this from your waiting room and play it on stage. And if you do not choose one from your waiting room and play it on stage, you may search your deck for one of these and play it on stage.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, like, you get to choose either your waiting room or your deck and play a copy of this level 3 from one of those places. And so this effectively lets this card replace itself for free, which is really cool. At the same time, though, letting this stay on board and just gain value over time by not requiring you to play more cards to replace it, and being able to just swing for 2 solid return is also pretty good. But this card is your finisher, so potentially having this die to bring this card out could be advantageous towards your late game.
Mm-hmm.
Assuming you're fulfilling the experience requirement, you're always going to have you're always going to have 1 copy of this that you will not have access to. So just keep that in mind. I decided to run 4 of this while you decided to run 3. I feel like with as mediocre of a level 1 game that Nadeko Waifu had, I wanted to ensure that I was drawing into this as consistently as possible. So I decided to run 4. Yeah.
Yeah, I usually just grab one off the Snek event.
Yeah, you can definitely grab it off of this.
I've never had I've never, like, not been able... Well, you know, not never, because this is a waifu deck and it's inconsistent as hell. But
yeah,
usually I'm able to draw into one of those 3/2s at some point.
Yeah. He's played this deck. I haven't. I literally just threw the list together.
Yeah.
So you would have more experience on that than me. But like, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like if my level 1s are gonna be like dying on the spot, at least more so than yours because you have this card, then I just want to be able to play this as consistently as possible. If not multiples, I think even multiples is okay.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about this card next. So you're basically only running 3 because you always want one of them in your level zone.
Yeah.
Okay, so when this is placed on stage from hand, or when it's placed on stage by the effect of this Nadeko, you look at up to 3 cards from the top of your deck, choose up to 1 of them, and add it to your hand without showing your opponent. Send the remaining cards to the waiting room. So it replaces itself on play. So not only does this replace itself when it dies, but it also gets you a +1 on play. So that's another reason you could potentially be okay with it dying. This allows it to dig for other copies of itself, or maybe a healer, or this, or Climax combos. So good card overall. Or good first effect at least. The other effect is the Ronco Climax combo. On attack, if you have the Pants Climax in play, you mill 5 and then you burn for X, where X is the number of climaxes in those 5 cards. And then until the end of the turn, for some reason, this gains 5,000 power. For some reason.
It's cool. It's pretty big.
So, yeah, this hits 15-5 by default, just freezing the combo, which is pretty stupid. Gets over pretty much everything. Pretty much.
The deck has to have something.
Yeah. But okay, so yeah, so this is your main finisher. It is inconsistent, but at the same time, if you're milling climaxes, then you're doing damage, and if you're not milling climaxes, then you might cancel later or trigger them. I don't know. Typically effects like these, like Ronco type effect, are not liked very much because of their inconsistency. But at the same time, it's free. It doesn't cost any stock to use the ability. You just have to have the Climax. So the randomness on this effect is somewhat offset by the fact that it's free.
Yeah.
And if you're able to mill your deck to, like, you have some amount of deck control, like deck size control through the event, and you have your brainstorms, and you can search up to 3 cards with this from the top of your deck. So if you're able to like control the size of your deck, you might be able to just end your turn with like 1 card, and like you're all set to go with a refresh, potentially. So you just kind of have to play smart, and sometimes you just don't play smart and you YOLO when you burn and then you win. But that's just how effects like this are.
That's just how Weiss is.
Yeah, that's true. So we both decided to run 4 because you want the consistency of putting it into your level. That's pretty much the main reason why.
I think you'd run in this deck. I think you'd run 4 even if it wasn't a requirement.
Yeah, just because it's like your main finisher.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and the last level 3 we will run is a healer from the original set.
Combos with the book.
Yeah, so there's a good enough reason to run 3 in that it's the only healer that Nadeko has access to. But when you combine that with the combo, I think running 3 copies is warranted in this build. So apart from being a healer, it has a Climax combo with this book. And it's when it attacks, if you have the book in the Climax area, you search your deck for up to 2 more copies of this card and add them to your hand. So you play a healer, you play the Climax, you search more healers. It gets you 1 step further from dying, and at the same time decompresses your deck by potentially 2 cards.
Well, it compresses you. It doesn't decompress you.
Or compresses you. It compresses you, my bad. Yeah, it compresses you 2 more cards, potentially, assuming both other copies are in your deck. So if you live another turn, you could play 2 more copies of the healer and just try not to die.
I've still never used that effect before.
What, the Climax combo?
I've never had the opportunity to use that Climax combo. I think the only time I did, there was no copies left.
All right, well, it's a healer.
Yeah, it's a healer.
Which is better than nothing.
Yeah.
All right, so do you have any thoughts on the deck's playstyle or anything in particular about the deck?
Well, at level 1, you're just kind of hoping that the 1065 and the 1175 or 7K are surviving a turn. Like, really what you want to have is like you want to have the 1/1 in the middle with the plus 1000 assist and a brainstorm in the back, because then that's like 9K and it'll probably live a turn.
And it's level 2.
Yeah, it's level 2. It's got protection. And then the 6/5, you're honestly just kind of hoping your opponent doesn't have an out to it.
What I think is kind of tragic, when I was looking through the cards, there was like this 1/02K counter, but it was only for yellow characters, and I was just like,
yeah,
man.
I don't understand. Most of her cards are blue.
Well, it was from the first set, right? I think.
Yeah, but most of her cards were still blue.
Oh.
She only had like a couple yellows.
That's tragic.
It is.
Well, at least you can splash it into like an actual yellow deck. But as far as this deck, because so many of the cards that you're putting onto the stage are blue characters, it's only a 1K counter for non-yellow, so feels pretty bad.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah. Anything else?
Yeah, because you really have no way to plus outside of hoping that your board stays alive. You pretty much have to play 4 books. I used to play stock souls instead of books, but honestly, triggering a +2 is like whatever.
What?
I'd rather just get the extra card.
What color is your stock soul?
It's a yellow top deck stock soul.
Oh, top deck stock soul. Lol. Okay.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
First set stuff, man.
Yeah. Oh, it's really good.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Basically, your only way of plussing, you have like 3 real ways of plussing. So you have your brainstorms, you have your triggers, and you have stuff not dying. In my deck, my stuff's gonna be dying a lot more than in yours. So
Yeah.
I'm a little bit more reliant on either hitting brainstorms or triggering these.
What's especially tragic is that pretty much every way you have to plus is blind.
Yeah, because
You're praying to just
yeah.
draw good cards.
Well, I mean, like, okay, you have your pants. At least you know what you're getting.
Sure.
But at the same time, it's a climax. So if you're getting near the bottom of your deck, then it might not be the best choice to salvage climax.
The biggest problem with the pants is that none of the climaxes do anything until you hit level 3.
Yeah, that's also
So it's not like
also a thing.
like you can just go, oh, okay, trigger pants. All right, I'm gonna add my level 1 plus in climax combo to my hand real quick.
Right. Yeah.
You don't have one. There is actually a level 2 combo. It's a 2-1 that comes with, I think, a stock soul.
Is it the top deck stock soul?
Yeah, and I think it's a 2-1, and I think it's pay 1 on search or pay 1 on attack, search 1.
Oh, that sounds pretty bad for a 2/1.
Yeah, yeah, and it's like 6/5. It's not especially great.
Wait, that sounds really bad.
Yeah.
Does it do anything else? I mean, with 6/5 power, it's gotta do something else.
I don't remember. I'm gonna look it up real quick.
Okay.
Yeah, so don't play this deck.
Okay.
Unless you either like really hate yourself or really like Nadeko. Alright, here, found it. It's a double R. You ready?
Yeah, sure.
When this attacks, if something stock soul is in your climax slot. Oh, okay, just search 1, add it to your hand.
Oh no. Okay, no pay.
Oh, I see. Okay, no, it's got an okay effect. Pay 1 on. Oh wow, this is actually really bad. Okay, so experience 4 or higher.
Wow.
You'll never have.
You'll never have because you have a 3 and a 0. Nice.
Search for the climax. Pay 1. Search the climax.
Wait, what?
Yeah, on play, if you have 4 or higher, pay 1. Search your deck for the climax.
For the stock soul?
Yes.
What the hell?
I guess.
All right.
I guess it's not awful.
I'm fairly certain you never play that in Nadeko Waifu. I'm fairly certain. I'm fairly certain you just never play that ever.
That card is just bad. It's a double R.
Oh my god. That must cost like 200 yen.
Oh man, it's the first card in the set too.
It must cost like 200 yen. Time to check Yuyute right now. On my second screen. Let's go. Monogatari series. Where are you? First set, right?
It's Bake. It's the first double R.
Oh my god, it's 100 yen.
Oh, nice.
Oh god.
Even they know. That's not on sale or anything, right? That's just the base cost.
Oh, it's 150 and then it's on sale for 100.
Oh, okay, cool.
I was pretty close. Oh my god, the Hitagi level 3 is on sale for $20.
This video is brought to you by Yuyute.
I know, right? Okay, so I think we've pretty much gone over the ins and outs of Nadeko Waifu and the fact that it sucks. So it's got a very mediocre level 0 game. If you're playing against a stupid opponent that, or not even really like a stupid. I need to assess how to treat these cards correctly. I feel like if you're playing against a card like this, you would want to attack with only one character, or at least you want to have a runner on the side or something like that, so that in the case that they do decide to use this card's effect, sack itself, play the 1/0. Since your other card is like a runner, then you're at least just trading them 1 for 1 because they got rid of their 0 in order to kill yours, and then they can't immediately like kill your runner. So for the most part, I think it's probably correct to just attack into this, regardless of whether or not your opponent has the card.
Probably.
So if your opponent decides to ignore this for whatever reason, then you basically, this card was basically a runner for a turn. So that is a potential way to plus. The way I decided to go with the 0 game, If they just can't kill this, then there's your runner, I guess. This thing lived a turn and was essentially your runner. The level 0 game is fairly mediocre. The level 1 game just as mediocre with no plus combo, and you're more or less just reliant on, depending on which way you decide to go, you're reliant on either your stuff not dying, or in my case, you're just reliant on drawing into more stuff because your stuff is dying.
Yeah.
At level 2, your game plan is... oh, sorry, do you want to throw something in there?
I have nothing to add. No, there's really nothing else that you can even, like, try to put in.
So, yeah, seems pretty pretty straightforward. At level 2, you want to be playing this 100% of the time, and you accomplish this by getting stuff that you need into your level, and then using this card to fix whatever didn't make it into your level.
Yeah.
Simple.
What you really want to do is
enough.
you want to, like, play the Snake event and, like, look at the last, like, up to 4 cards of your deck so that he stays out when you refresh. Wait, it does stay out when you refresh, right? Because it's an event?
Yeah.
Yeah. You wanna just mill the last couple cards, make that the only card in your waiting room, and then play the 3/2.
Yeah, that sounds like a good plan.
Yeah, that's kind of like the goal. But you have nothing else. You have no other, like, real game plan.
Yeah, so, like, goals with this deck, get that in level. Don't lose at level 1. Play this. Have this in waiting room when you play this, so you get the marker.
Yeah.
And then you just pray that you don't get cheesed from there.
Remember I told you about the TD Sal player?
Yeah.
The Accelerate Asunas?
Yeah.
Yeah, those completely demolished the Nadeko level 1 game.
Oh, because he just kills your stuff?
Just ran over all 3.
Feels bad.
And that's how I lost to the Sao TD. Okay.
Alright. Yep. Straightforward. Simple. Bad. Alright.
Yeah.
Alright, if you don't have anything to add, I think we're pretty much done here.
Yeah, I really have nothing else to say about this one. It's not as interesting as the Ram deck was.
The Ram deck, it had some pretty nice interactions, especially with a top checker.
Yeah.
So that one definitely had a better finisher game.
Yeah, I think if I were going to the Waifu tournament at Desu, or a Waifu tournament at Desu, I'd probably bring Ram.
I would absolutely play Ram over this, personally.
Yep. 100%.
Although, I mean, like, if it were me, I wouldn't be playing either of those because I have, like, other waifu decks I could play, or just judge lol.
I understand. Yeah.
All right. Well, that pretty much sums up our Nadeko Waifu Wednesday deck profile. This has been Peshcats here with Paru, Mizu Hash Brown.
Yeah.
And yeah. All right.
This is a deck.
So if you guys have any suggestions that you guys would like to see on future Waifu Wednesday episodes, feel free to leave those down in the comment section. Although for at least next week, I'm planning to do a video with Uncle Butts and Coconuts. And we're not totally sure on what waifu we're going to do for that yet, but I am planning to do an episode with him. So be sure to look out for that.
Sounds good.
And yeah, all good here. So see you next time, guys. Bye.